Hello and welcome to Byju's Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we look into our practice questions for the day, we have two important announcements. In continuation with the knowledge series, today's topic discussion would be preamble. Please do tune in live on our YouTube channel at 8 p.m. so that you understand everything about this topic. And this lecture will be delivered by Sarmat sir. Second announcement is in reference to the Independence Day. Tomorrow being the Independence Day, we would not be uploading the daily quiz as well as the daily CNA on our YouTube channel. Let's get started and look into the first question. With respect to Zoroastrianism, which of the following statements are correct? The holy book is Torah. Fire and water are regarded as the pure symbol of the Zoroastrian religion. Dakmanashini is a religious practice of voluntarily fasting to death by gradually reducing the intake of food and liquids. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Parsi culture and tradition. Let us try and understand what are these options. When we look into the first option, the holy book is Torah. This happens to be a wrong statement because the holy book of Zoroastrianism happens to be Avesta. And as part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section which is this holy book representing, that is Torah is the holy book of which religion is what you have to put on the comment section. So when we speak about Avesta, this happens to be the primary collection of all the religious texts of Zoroastrianism composed in the Avestan language. When we look into the second statement, yes, fire and water are regarded as the pure symbol of the Zoroastrian religion. This statement is right. Fire together with clean water are considered agents of ritual purity in the Zoroastrian religion, and fire is used as a medium to communicate with God, whom they call as Ahura Mazda. So second statement is right. When we look into the third statement, Dakmanashini is a religious practice of voluntarily fasting to death by gradually reducing the intake of food and liquids. This is a wrong statement. Dakmanashini happens to be a method of corpse destruction. Dakmanashini is thus a mode of disposal of the dead body. And as part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section this religious practice of voluntarily fasting on to death by gradually reducing the intake of food and liquids is associated with one of the religions. Which religion is it? Is what you have to put on the comment section. If we have to speak about Zoroastrianism, the foundation of the ancient religion of Zoroastrianism was laid by the teachings and wisdom of spiritual leader and reformist Zoroaster, also known as Zarathustra, in the 6th century BCE in the modern day Iran. It is based on a dualistic cosmology of good and evil. It is also one of the world's oldest continuously practiced religions in India. They are known as Parsis or from Persia. Zoroastrianism went into terminal decline after the Arab conquest of Persia. These are some of the important facts with respect to Zoroastrianism. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements. Basmati is a long grain rice which has its origins in India and some parts of Pakistan. India is the largest producer of basmati rice with about 70% share in global production. The yield of basmati rice from the agricultural land is almost half the non-basmati varieties. The older basmati gets, the better its flavor and aroma. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the basmati rice. All the 4 statements given in this practice question are right. So the answer would be 1, 2, 3 and 4. When we speak about basmati, it is one of the best known varieties of rice anywhere across the world. India is the world's largest producer as well as the exporter of basmati rice, and this long grain rice which has its origin in India as well as some parts of Pakistan. Basmati rice has a unique position in the rice world due to its price, fragrance, grain morphology as well as the quality. Basmati is available in white and the brown versions, and like the wine and the cheese, the older the basmati gets, the better is its flavor as well as the aroma. Hence, the aged basmati costs higher than the recent productions. The yield of basmati rice from the agricultural land is almost half the non-basmati varieties. This is one of the reasons for basmati's higher cost. So all the four statements given in the practice questions are right, and the answer would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. This article currently goes on to say that Punjab government has imposed ban on about 10 insecticides, and these are the insecticides because these were harming the crops and it could also have health impacts on the people as well, which is why Punjab government has put a ban on all these insecticides. Now let's look into the next practice question. Who among the following was convicted in the Titagarh conspiracy case? Bhavani Prasad Bhattacharya, Chitranjan Das, Parul Mukherjee, S.M. Joshi. The answer to this is Parul Mukherjee. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Titagarh conspiracy case. So when it comes to Titagarh conspiracy case, remember it was Parul Mukherjee who was convicted. What exactly happened in Titagarh conspiracy case? Parul Mukherjee was in charge of a house at Titagarh. Where is Titagarh? It happens to be in the state of West Bengal. And this particular house provided shelter for many of the revolutionary fugitives who escaped from the jails. Especially in the year 1936, what we have is Purnananda Das and Sitanath Dev, who along with other revolutionaries escaped from the Alipur jail. So those who escaped from the Alipur jail were also safeguarded in this particular place. The British get to know about it and eventually they go on to convict Parul Mukherjee, who happened to house all these revolutionaries, which is why it is called as the Titagarh conspiracy case. So this is very important from the preliminary examination point of view. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statement. She was shot dead by the British Indian police in front of the Tamluk police station. She was affectionately known as Gandhi Puri. She took part in the civil disobedience movement and was arrested for breaking the SALT Act. The above statements best describe Bina Das, Kalpana Datta, Matangini Hazra, Preeti Lata Wadeda. The answer to this is Matangini Hazra. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to Preeti Lata, Bina Das as well as Matangini Hazra. When we speak about Matangini Hazra, she happens to be one of the freedom fighters. She was shot dead by the British Indian police in front of the Tamluk police station and she was affectionately called as Gandhi Buri. So in case you hear this word Gandhi Buri, this has a direct reference to Matangini Hazra. If we have to speak about other freedom fighters, we have Bina Das. Bina Das was a member of Chhatri Sangha, which happened to be a semi-revolutionary organization for women in Kolkata. On February 6, 1932, she attempted to assassinate Bengal Governor Stanley Jackson in the Convocation Hall of the University of Calcutta. The revolver was supplied by another freedom fighter, Kamala Das Gupta. In 1960, because of this bravery, the government of India awarded her the Padma Shri for her contributions in the social work. Do note, she was just 21 when she fired the bullets at Bengal Governor Stanley Jackson. Then we have Kalpana Datta. Kalpana Datta was a member of armed independence movement led by Surya Sen, which carried out Chittaganga Armory raid in 1930. She was part of Armory Loop and the first attempt at torching Pahartoli Club, and she was also inspired by the martyrdom of Khudiram Bose. Then we have Preeti Lata Wadeda. She joined a revolutionary group headed by Surya Sen. She is known for leading 15 revolutionaries in 1932 armed attack on the Pahartali European Club. The revolutionaries had torched the club and they were caught by the colonial police to escape arrest. Preeti Lata also committed suicide by digesting cyanide. These are some of the freedom fighters whom we have forgotten and we have to remember them, says this article. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which one of the following situations best reflects indirect transfers often talked about in media recently with reference to India? An Indian company investing in foreign enterprise and paying taxes to the foreign country on the profits arising out of its investment. A foreign company investing in India paying taxes to the country of its base on the profits arising out of its investment. An Indian company purchases tangible assets in a foreign country and sells such assets after their value value increases and transfers the proceeds to India. A foreign company transfers shares and such shares derive their substantial value from assets located in India. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2022. The answer to this is a foreign company transfers shares and such shares derive their substantial value from assets located in India. This happens to be the right statement. So when we speak about indirect transfers, they refer to the situation where some of the foreign entities own shares or assets in India. The shares of such foreign entities are transferred instead of a direct transfer of the underlying assets in India. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is mutual legal assistance in criminal matters. Let us try and understand what is this topic all about. As the very name denotes, it is mutual legal assistance. What is this mutual legal assistance? Let's say, for example, we have one person who is present in India who has committed an heinous offense and he escapes, absconds, and is now in another country. So what will this other country do? India has established a relationship with another country so that there is exchange of information about this criminal, and at the same time this other country will also provide all type of legal assistance to India. So entering into such a deal is what is called as mutual legal assistance in criminal matters. So when we speak about mutual legal assistance, it is a mechanism whereby countries cooperate, coordinate with each other in order to provide or assist in prevention, suppression, investigation and prosecution of a crime, to ensure that criminals do not escape or sabotage the due process of law for want of evidence available in different countries. When we speak about mutual legal assistance, we have to remember another term called as the letters rogatory. What is this letters rogatory? Let's say, for example, there is a court of law. The court of law wants a particular evidence from a court in another jurisdiction. Let's say Indian court, let's say Indian High Court or the Supreme Court wants one of the evidences from, let's say, from Italy. In that particular case, the court makes a request which is called as letters rogatory. So LR is issued by the Indian court on the request of the investigating officer or investigating agency under section 166A and chapter 7A of the CRPC. So if the court is requesting the information from the court of another country, that is called as the letters rogatory. Then we have the mutual legal assistance request. This is made by the central authority of India to the central authority of another country on the request of the investigating officer or the investigating agency. So in mutual legal assistance request, it is the central government which is making the request. It is the central authority which is making the request in India. The central authority happens to be the Ministry of Home Affairs. So it is the Ministry of Home Affairs which will coordinate with another central agency in some other country to get all these requests fulfilled. MLA request can only be made to the countries with which India has a bilateral treaty, agreement, multilateral treaty or international convention. But when it comes to LRs, LRs can be issued to countries with whom India has bilateral treaty, multilateral treaty or international convention, and at the same time LR can also be issued to any country with whom India does not have any existing bilateral relationship as well. These are the differences between mutual legal assistance request as well as the letters rogatory. And do note, the central authority happens to be the Ministry of Home Affairs in India. It is this central authority which will get all the information from another country, and at the same time it will also give information to another country. It receives information and it also transfers information to another country if the request is made by such a country. In the present situation, India and Italy are fine-tuning a mutual legal assistance treaty with help to countries obtain formal assistance in investigation related to the criminal cases. So these two countries are working on the mutual legal assistance in the criminal matters. So what are the functions when it comes to the central authority? What will this central authority do? We have the Ministry of Home Affairs. It ensures that all the measures of the legal assistance is provided by India. If there is a country like Italy which is making a request about one of its criminals, then all the information about its criminal who is present in India will be given by the Ministry of Home Affairs. It also formulates and takes the policy decision on all the mutual legal assistance in criminal matters. And who is the designated authority? Ministry Ministry of Home Affairs. Who will make the policy? Ministry of Home Affairs, and it makes the request to the foreign countries and also accepts the request from the foreign countries. So it basically coordinates the arrangements for the representation of foreign countries in India for any proceedings. It answers all the queries with respect to the Indian laws as well. Ultimately, it is this ministry which will coordinate with another country for the mutual legal assistance in the criminal matter. What are the kind of requests that can be made? Identifying and locating persons and objects, taking evidence and obtaining statements, assisting in the availability of person in custody or others to give evidence or assist in investigation or appear as a witness, effecting service of judicial documents, executing searches as well as seizures, providing information, documents, records and other evidentiary items, taking measures to identify, locate, attach, freeze, restrain, confiscate or forfeit the proceeds. These are the kind of requests that can be made by one country with another country. So what is the significance of such a deal? Basically, whenever such treaty is signed with another country, it enhances the effectiveness of both the countries to investigate and prosecute a particular crime. So basically, we would be able to cooperate with them, we would be able to coordinate with them, and ultimately whosoever is the criminal, such person will be prosecuted by an agency. In the context of the transnational crime and its linkages to the terrorism, the treaty will also provide a broader legal framework for the bilateral cooperation. It will also increase effectiveness of India in tackling all the criminal activities involving Italy as well. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.